This series is about the real purpose of Christ's mission on earth. So please don't expect any useless religious crap here. Throughout this series, we will be quoting from The Kingdom Principles, a book by Dr. Miles Monroe. Amending it where necessary, Lord Rael and his imperial regent, Angelus Domini, may also be referred to. Supporting and reading each of their works is the fastest way to evolve your understanding. The Return of Christ is a book comprehensively detailing the teachings of Lord Rael, Angelus Domini, and the Ecumenical Order of Christ. It's available for purchase if you're serious about learning the true way of Christ's new kingdom. God's priority, and hopefully yours, is a functioning kingdom on earth, an extension of a practical model already used in heaven. God's reign and that of his son, Rael, isn't authority for sake of itself. It's about gathering like-minded individuals and achieving fulfillment for all of them through the clear direction of a responsible king. Man got the idea for royalty and monarchies from heaven. We did not invent it, but we didn't get it quite right either. So our monarchies and/or governments seem to fail too often. Rejecting God's way means we have had to invent our own forms of government structures to fill the gap and maintain harmony. But harmony isn't what we found, is it? Dr. Monroe offers a hint at why, saying, authority is the key to successful government. If the ruling power does not have authority, it cannot govern. The authority to govern is either given by way of popular vote or derived by way of inherent authority. Earthly governments derive their authority from the people either through a process of choice or usurping authority through force. For instance, a president or prime minister is imbued with authority by the people who voted him or her into power. In kingdoms, however, authority is inherent and a product of the rights of ownership. This concept is crucial in understanding the nature of kingdoms. God's authority as king is inherent. No one gives him authority. Replacing divine authority and God's will for mankind with man-made governments has been more of an experiment to learn from than anything else. Let's look at some of these experiments and understand what they're teaching us. Feudalism is the first, and the closest to God's monarchy. Feudal lords were lords because they owned land, with more land generally meaning more power, and enough power might be regarded as a kingdom with what amounts to a pseudo-king. These so-called kings allowed subjects to live and work on their land, who either prospered or suffered depending on the unreliable morality of mortal rulers. Unlike true royalty, feudal lords lost power when technology and industry precluded the need for vast farmland to achieve influence. Dictatorship amounts to self-assumed superiority and right to rule, with unlimited authority over all of its people. Though it changes its face and flavor, it consistently fails because it consistently puts the desires of the despot above the needs of the people. It's inevitable that all dictatorships will be revolted against and crumble. Communism attempts to favor the people by seizing all wealth in the name of mandatory love and sharing. Virtues which can only happen organically and not by force. In doing all of this, ambition and productivity are eliminated and must be simulated with abuse. Monroe writes that these behaviors result from natural motivations and internal convictions. No law can accomplish that. It is my view that communism is man's attempt to reestablish the kingdom of heaven on earth, as given to the first man, Adam, but without the involvement of the source of creation himself. To extend this quote a bit more, Monroe also describes socialism as a stepchild of communism. It's another endeavor to bring the state closer to the needs of the people. It substitutes the state for the king and attempts to control society for the benefit of society. Like all the others, socialism is another failed attempt by man to govern himself. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the state loses its concern for the individual as it becomes more obsessed with its own power. Lastly, we must understand the greatest experiment, democracy, for what it really is. It began as a reaction against despotism and abusive monarchies. In America, checks and balances were conceived to prevent too much power in any one person after rebelling against a corrupt king. An incorruptible king would actually protect minorities from one of the most crippling democratic evils. Democracy has famously been described as two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. Majority rule places the fool on an equal or usually greater footing with the astute. This is more accurately described as mob rule. Democracy in some ways makes the people into their own sort of God, but it's a God that has historically proven unreliable and unproductive. This mob rule is subject to constant change. Nothing is set in stone nor consistent because all things are subject to the social influences and social engineering aimed at the whimsical opinions of the misinformed masses. Culture changes everything, which is one reason democracies are so against religion in leadership. Democracy typically emphasizes a separation between religion and state, but this is always an illusion, as Monroe illustrates. Everyone is religious in the sense that they bring to life their moral convictions, no matter what their religious claim. We all are political and religious. There can be no separation. You cannot legislate a division between a man and his belief system.